Ayesha Curry, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It's like we're in Abu Dhabi.
We're in Abu Dhabi. You're an under 30 alum. You made the list in 2018. A lot has happened since you made the list. Can you tick through 30 seconds greatest hits?
This is great because I've never taken the opportunity, I think, to step back and like think about it. But I opened a second restaurant location in Las Vegas, had a second cookbook come out, started my brand Sweet July. My husband and I launched our foundation, finally, Eat, Learn, Play. And we started a magazine publication with Sweet July. And now we have, a media publication with our Sweet July books and our production company. And so just like so many platforms to tell people's stories. And so I think that's been like the most exciting thing coming off of, the joy of making that Forbes 30 under 30 in 2018.
You have a very distinct brand within the food industry, within the food market. It is a crowded space. There are a lot of people trying to do what you do.
Yes.
How do you carve out a niche for yourself?
You know what's so interesting? I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones because I started, it's a decade now ago. And at the time, I feel like there really wasn't much representation. And so I was able to fill that space that was there to sort of, I feel like, pave the way for other people like me. And so I feel like for me, it's just been about being authentic, coming from an authentic place, and really from a food space, leaning into where I'm at that moment with my family. And so like what's working for me right then and what's not, and then sharing that with my little world. And I feel like that's worked for me.
So it's really just Ayesha. That's the secret.
Yeah, I guess so.
You have written one of my go-to weeknight recipes. It's a sheet pan dinner. It's chicken, it's chickpeas, it's tomatoes, it's a spice rub. Not to get too deep into the food science, but is the recipe creation process for you also tapping into your inner Ayesha and your authenticity? How did you come up with that?
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that is my like creative niche. That's where I get to like flex those creative skills and kind of free my mind a little bit. And so for me, it could be something as simple as going to the farmer's market on a Wednesday morning and seeing what's in season and what's fresh, and taking what's the most beautiful of bounty at that time and being like, okay, we're going to try and figure out something with this. Or, realizing the past 2 weeks have been crazy with the family and like we didn't cook very much, and I want to change that. And so how can I come up with, 15-minute recipes that are going to make the next 2 weeks easy for me? So it just, again, like comes from a place of authenticity and like filling the gap of like what I need in that moment.
Your recipes are good for that. I go through those periods too, and it's when you can cook for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it sometimes restarts the creative juices.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I want to switch to your foundation because that's something relatively new.
Yeah.
Tell us about Eat, Learn, Play.
Yes. So my husband, Stefan, and I launched Eat, Learn, Play in July of 2019. So right before the pandemic hit. And we were such a baby of a foundation, still are, but we had to act quickly once the pandemic hit. Our focus is, on the full child. And that comes down to nutrition, quality education, and safe places to play. And we focus on kids in the Oakland community because there's huge disparities there. And so for us, we had to like be boots on the ground and figure out, how to show up for people very quickly during the pandemic. And we quickly realized that, there was a huge gap when it came to nutrition. And so we were able to partner with people throughout the community, with restaurants throughout the community, with organizations that were doing amazing work already, like World Central Kitchen, and feed the community during that time. But what we found during that time was that there was this whole ecosystem that could exist to like uplift the community and get restaurants back open, get people back working, and still feed the community in turn. And I feel like we were able to come up with a really great model that other organizations are now using. And so that was exciting for us. But yes, Eat, Learn, Play, focus on, access to quality education, quality nutrition and safe places to play for kids.
What is the connection between nutrition and education? And I guess that could be a college thesis. So what's your 30-second?
That's what I'm like, where do I begin?
What's the elevator pitch for why people should be thinking about those two issues in tangent?
If you're hungry and you're not well fed and your brain and your body aren't nourished, you don't have the ability to function and learn in class. And so the two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. And so, when it comes to nutrition and education, they're sisters, and one isn't going to work without the other.
And I don't have all the numbers at the top of my head, but tens of thousands of meals have been donated through Eat, Learn, Play. You've affected many, many people. What's next?
So for us right now, we've really leaned into activating our Learn pillar, specifically with a focus and an emphasis on literacy and reading. In the Oakland community, only 20% of public schools have a library for kids to access books. So for us, we've been working with Little Town Libraries to put 150 small libraries across the community so that kids have access to free books anytime they want. Because just like food, if literacy is at the forefront of determining somebody's entire future. Mm-hmm. So for us, that's our focus right now.
You're doing a lot. We've talked about cookbooks, restaurants, foundations. It's been 5 years since you made the under 30 list. If we talk in another 5 years, what do you want to tell me you've accomplished?
Oh my goodness. I think for me, Eat, Learn, Play is really, at the forefront of my passion and what I want to be the most important work that I do. And so for me, I would love to see the numbers just shift. And I would love to, uplift the community and the kids in the Oakland community and just see more kids going to college and thriving, or whether it's just vocational skills and they're going into the workplace, just to help, foray these kids into having a great life, I think would be the most important for me. So I think that also means, advocating for more policy change on a bigger level. So I'd love to see things shift in that sense.
I'd like to see that too. I look forward to your report. Ayesha, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.